So when is the season gonna get good? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Free Dive to the Future episode 4. And that little cold open stinger, whatever you want to call it, was not really a joke. This season has been not great so far. And I'm not even just talking because of the entire thing about not focusing on Iwatobi, but this season just hasn't been interesting compared to the previous ones. Like, they introduced this new character and try to make us understand that he's a friend from Haru and Makoto's past, but not connected in any way to Nagisa. I believe Ray came in later, so. But this was also after Reen had already left for Australia. And it's just like, they're just throwing in this new character and trying to make us believe he was always a thing. And it feels so off. On top of that, he's not really that interesting. Like, I had been, like, kind of joking around and pointing out that he's like, oh, he's gay, and everything. He very clearly had a crush on Haru and everything. And honestly, probably still does. But, you know, just a character being very clearly gay coded is not necessarily good storytelling, you know? Like, that's fine, that's cool, but it doesn't make a good anime on its own. You need more to it. You need to have good story and good just pacing, good everything, really, to connect with that. You can't just, like, throw in implied, not even confirmed, but implied gay representation and expect that to just work. Again, the way that this character is, like, introduced and the position he's introduced in and everything just doesn't really work. Like, we're expected to really give a shit about him being upset and clearly going emo because of Haru and them, you know, moving away and everything when they were younger. It's like we're supposed to care. I don't care about him. And I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just the series has not had enough time to make me care. Like, this character needed to be at least mentioned and brought up a lot sooner. And, I mean, I guess technically maybe he could have been, but it was if he was, it was probably just like an in passing hand wave of a line rather than anything actually meaningful. Because he just seems to have come out of complete nowhere. And it's disappointing. They didn't need to introduce him as a former friend, specifically. They could have just had him be some rival swimmer. Maybe explain that he saw Haru in previous swim meets, previous tournament or whatever. And that's how the connection is formed. That way we don't need to have known about him beforehand. And the kind of connection and everything could still work. But again, having them have known each other since childhood and everything, it's like it doesn't work from a storytelling and character perspective for me. And on top of that, it's like we have so many storylines we're jumping around in. We have the stuff with Reen in Australia, the brother of this kid who was in Australia and is now going to Japan. We have the stuff with Haru Makoto and him and the other friends and everything. They're kind of just there. We have the Iwatobi stuff. We have so many storylines going on at once. And except for maybe the stuff with, again, Haru and Makoto and everything, none of the other ones are getting the time they need to, actually breathe. And I know, we've only done 3 episodes up to now. We're on episode 4 and everything. It's like, oh, you got to give it a chance. It's like we're almost halfway through the season. You do realize that. When a season is a single core, 12, 13 episodes, you need to progress things faster. That's a requirement. You can't wait until like episode 8 or 9 and expect that to be a good place to actually start understanding shit. With a 12 or 13 episode season, or series in general, you need to be able to understand shit by like episode 3. With a 2-core season, you can do otherwise. And the movie that we did before didn't help because that movie was, 1, really poorly handled, and 2, it really only showed this kid like at the end, basically. He was basically teased in that. He wasn't actually a character in the movie. He was just teased to be for the next season. And by the way, I haven't been mentioning his name because I don't remember it. It's like I remember it like once we start episodes and all, but like until then it's like his name just escapes me because he has no memorability to him. And I know, I'm ranting, I'm going on forever about this, but this is kind of a big deal, because if I'm not getting into this season, why am I going to want to continue it? Like, I don't know what happened here, because the first 2 seasons were really good. They really gripped me. The first season was the best. I think season 1 was definitely better than season 2, but it's like, not by that much. But this drop off is notable. It's just, splitting the story into this many parts is not working. Introducing characters that were basically part of the story all along, in a way, that doesn't work. And it's just like, I have not found myself caring about anything going on. And I'm really disappointed by that. Because it's like, there's so much potential here. And they're just kind of meandering around things and ruining it. And I understand this may just be my opinion. I don't know what the general consensus on this season is compared to the others. But this is so far not working for me. And like I said, this is a single core season. 12 or 13 episodes. I don't remember exactly which number it is. But the point of that being, we're on episode 4 right now. So we're like, what? After this episode will be a third of the way through. I think we have to kind of use this episode as a clincher. Like, some people would say, oh, wait till you're halfway through. But it's like, with how this is going, I don't know if I can do that. Because that would be episode 6. Like, that's, either way, that would be episode 6. And it's like, to do 2 more episodes after this, I don't know if I could, if I'm just not enjoying it that much. I don't know if I could force myself to get through 2 more episodes just to see if I even want to continue with this. If I'm liking it at all. And I think it would just be better to make that decision now. To just come to a steady conclusion on this rather than, drag it out forever. So we're going to see how this episode goes. It's not going to be just a matter of do I drop it or not. I'm going to think about everything that happens in this episode, all the potential I can see happening. I might end up giving it another episode or two. It depends on how this episode goes, though. I need to not necessarily be impressed here, but I feel like I just need to have something, I feel like I need to have some level of interest in continuing after this. And I really hope it does so. Because, like I said, I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons of this, more so than I ever thought I would. I was excited to get back to this. And to see it disappointing me this much is really heartbreaking. So, we'll see how this goes. Let's just get this started and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Yeah, I think that this episode just kind of confirmed it for me. I don't like what they're doing with this season. Almost at all. And again, it's not just the fact that it's not focusing on Iwatobi. I could get over that as long as the story, the character work, all of that is good. The problem is it's not. And again, I don't know what people think of this comparatively to the first 2 seasons. I don't know what is the popular or unpopular opinion on this. But, by God, I am, actively, this is actively a pain to sit through. I wouldn't say, I'm hating it. Believe me, if I was hating it, I would not have got this far. But I am very actively disliking it to the point where it's becoming so, annoying and difficult to even just motivate myself to get through an episode. I'm not saying motivate myself to get to an episode, to get through one, which is rare for me. That I'm watching an episode and I'm feeling like I could just stop this recording now and just end it there. I almost never think that. That's kind of a new one. It has happened before. It does happen every now and again, but usually I'm able to get through an episode fine, but this one, it was a struggle. And it's just because of various things. Some things that have been building up since the beginning of the season, and some things that are new, and it's a problem that they're new. Let's talk about my biggest issue first, with this episode specifically, of course. Tono, that's his name, right? Why is he suddenly a fucking asshole? Don't get me wrong, Tono was not the nicest person before, but he came across as protective. He came across as someone trying to protect Ikuya from others who might be, dangerous to him. Not, physically dangerous or anything, but dangerous to his, mental and emotional state. He was trying to keep Ikuya safe from, bringing back old traumas and pains and stuff. But then in this episode, he's suddenly super aggressive towards them. He's aggressively rude, and not just rude, but like very actively like vindictive. And it's like he was not like that before. And you could kind of like I think I said this in the reaction, but you can kind of like say like, oh, he's getting annoyed by them at this point, he's losing his patience. It's like, yeah, you could maybe make that argument, but that is such a massive sudden change that it creates tonal whiplash. Like, he doesn't feel like the same character. It doesn't feel like a natural progression into that. Like, especially with the music they played at like the certain parts with him and everything, it came across as ominous. And then you have the one guy, I names escape me. The one Asahi? Yeah, I think it's Asahi, who was like saying like, oh, you're being like creepy, or I think he might have said ominous, something like that. And it's like, yeah, he kind of is, and why is he? Because that's almost kind of come out of nowhere, and it again, it just doesn't feel natural. The fact that they point it out doesn't make it feel any more natural. It just means that they are acknowledging how off-putting this is. And it's like, it just feels so weird to suddenly bring in kind of that ominous, creepy energy. And it's with all of that, with what's being said, with the creepy music and everything, with the way that the mood of the visuals and everything just shifts during those moments, it's coming across like they're trying to paint Tono as a villain, not like someone who's getting annoyed with them, but not even like someone who's just like trying to protect Ikia or anything, but as a straight up villain. Not even an antagonist, a villain. I'm hammering that in because that's the tone that the music and everything and the camera work even was going for during those scenes. It's so off-putting, and not in a good way. Like, you could do that in a good way, but he has to show signs of that from the start pretty much. You can't just bring that out of nowhere unless you're trying to make a surprise villain, which this is very clearly not the case. So it just doesn't work. On top of that, you have the thing that's been building up this entire season, that Haru, Makoto, Asahi, our friend group that we're focusing on in the college, are fucking stalkers. And some of you watching might be like, oh, you're being dramatic or whatnot. It's like, no. They're literally stalking a childhood friend for, not bad reasons. They want to apologize to him, but at the same time, they're stalking him. They're literally stalking him. They are getting information about his whereabouts, about his, his classes and everything. They're trying to find out his schedule. They're trying to, like, meet up with him, like, without him knowing and everything. They're stalking him. They're absolutely fucking stalking him. And again, it's not out of ill intent. I understand that. That does make it a little better. But it's still stalking, and it's still fucking weird. It's like, we're supposed to be rooting for them when they're doing this shit? Because I'm not. Here's the thing. He's a childhood friend of theirs. He's a friend from middle school, but they're not friends anymore. The fact that they're still saying they're friends is insane to me. You're not his friend anymore. You haven't been his friend for a long time. Your friendship dissolved. That happened because of the time you guys spent apart. The group split up. You spent that time apart. Your friendship dissolved because of it. You aren't friends anymore. And you trying to force your way into his life is not okay, really. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't see them as the good guys for doing this. If Ikea just wants to be left alone, leave him the fuck alone. He's not your business anymore. Like, I understand wanting to reconnect with old friends. Believe me, I've done that. I've wanted to reconnect with old friends, and I've even tried to. But if they tell me no, I'm going to respect that. I'm not going to force it. And I'm definitely not going to stalk them and find out all their information about their classes and shit. That's fucking creepy. Don't do that. Again, these are supposed to be the good guys. We're supposed to be cheering them on and rooting for them to succeed at what they're doing. And I understand that in crafting a well-written character, your good guys are going to have flaws. This is more than just a character flaw, though. This is straight up stalking. And again, I can understand if Tono was upset and getting annoyed and everything by just that. But that, again, that's clearly not what they're doing in this episode with him getting, like, creepily angry and aggressively rude and everything. Like, the entire shit he says in this about, like, you don't deserve to be his friends and everything. It's like, the fuck, dude? Like, that is so needlessly aggressive. Like, again, it just comes across as really unsettlingly, like, creepy and shit. He comes across as a villain. And it's the weirdest fucking vibe that they're going with here. I don't know what they're trying to do. But whatever it is, I don't think it's been working personally. I don't think that they've been succeeding at whatever they're trying to do with this storyline. And then we get these tiny glimpses at the Iwatobi and Samezaka stuff. These just tiny little glimpses. And honestly, I'm more interested in that. And like I said, it's not just because of, wanting the focus to have been on this. But it's like, it's more interesting to me because it's not filled with creepiness. And on top of that, they're adding another storyline in because there's the kid from the movie who, just hasn't been in this at all. And now he's going to be in. And we have his coach that was set up in the movie as well. So he's going to have to be introduced. So this has way too many fucking storylines. Why does this season have so many fucking storylines? Again, I said it during the reaction multiple times. I'm really, genuinely not trying to just find anything to bitch about. I'm not trying to be negative for the sake of being negative. I genuinely am trying my fucking damnedest to enjoy this. I'm trying to just have fun with the series, with the season, and to just, enjoy it as it is. I'm not trying to nitpick. I'm not trying to, be needlessly judgy. But it's like everything they're doing is just like not working at all for me. And again, I said it in the pre-thoughts, but it's like I don't care about Ikuya either. It's not even just what the others are doing to try and get to him. I don't even care about Ikuya because the show hasn't done anything to make me care about him. He hasn't been in the series long enough to really gain my favor. And on top of that, it's like, what has he done this season since his debut? Nothing. All he's done in this entire season so far is just be an emo little shit. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why this has just dropped off so much for me. I don't get it. It's kind of making me think of Vox Machina. As you know, I dropped season 2 of Vox Machina because I did not like where it was going. It was not entertaining to me. It was not fun to watch. It was a slog to get through. I was annoyed by the different things they were doing, and I wasn't having fun watching anymore. The fact that this is reminding me of that, is giving me those same vibes, that's not a good thing. That's very much a bad thing. It's really annoying too. Because I hate it when I start a show and then like a future season ends up like kind of, even if it's just in my opinion, going downhill for me. I think I feel what the Game of Thrones fans felt like in the final season or two, when that went downhill for pretty much every Game of Thrones fan out there. I feel like I'm feeling the same thing here. It's just, again, I don't know exactly what it is, but this is just not working for me. I can only note the things that definitely bother me, and hope that it gets better, but at this point, I don't think it's going to. I think this is just what they're doing for this season. We're almost halfway through the season, and it feels like nothing has actually fucking happened. That's not a good sign. And again, in what has actually happened is not entertaining. It's not fun to watch. It's a slog to sit through. And I'm having a bad time with this. And I really hate to say that, but that's kind of the long and short of it. I'm having a bad time watching this. It's proving to be something I actively do not enjoy. But I can't force myself to go through more of this. And I fucking hate it for multiple reasons. Because, like I said, I was excited for this to return. I was hyped for this because it had been quite a while. I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons. And I was excited to see more of that. And then this season takes a complete left turn with, like, everything. And goes in directions that is just, like, so uncharacteristically unenjoyable for this series that it's such an it's bothering me just so goddamn much. And as I've said with various things in the past, I refuse to force myself to get through something just to finish it. I don't believe that anyone should force themselves to sit through something they're not enjoying. And that includes reactors. Reactors shouldn't have to finish something if they don't enjoy it, just to finish the series. I don't think that that's healthy, if nothing else, because for your own mental and emotional health, you need to be able to know when to call it quits. If you're hate watching something, it's going to be an absolutely miserable experience. What are you getting out of that? You saw the season to the end? Oh boy. You had a shitty time doing so. So why would you bother? I don't get it. Now, it really sucks because this was also a donation reward to get back to. Mind you, I would have gotten back to this anyway. But Dice, you did donate for me to get back to this earlier than I would have otherwise. And I apologize. I don't know how much you like this season compared to the others. But I just really was not enjoying it. And it's one of those things where it's like, you guys probably also don't want to hear me just bitching every week about this. That's not going to be fun for you guys either. So it's kind of it's kind of the best choice for both me and for you, for me to just drop this here. But the question is, what do I replace it with? Because here's the issue. This is a oh, what the hell's happening here? Oh, hold on. Sorry, there's a little bit of lag there, weirdly. This is a donation reward series, right? Um, and in our other part of this slot, our other half of this slot for hold on, it's coming up. It's just don't you hate when that happens? Um, for Undead Unlock, we just started that back up. And that was taking over for Lucifer right now, I believe. Yeah, yeah, that's the slot Lucifer is in, I believe. Did this one replace Lucifer? I don't know. Now I'm question. No, I think this one replaced Lucifer. Either way, either way. I said I was gonna get back to Lucifer like right after and everything. No, I think it was Undead Unlock. Yeah, because it was just recently. Yeah, it was just recent that I put Lucifer on hold, and I just started Undead Unlock. So yeah, yeah. Um, sorry, sometimes it gets a little mixed up there. But I said I would come right back to Lucifer, but this has been like really quick. Like a lot quicker than I would have thought a slot would have opened up here. Like let me see if I can find real quick here. If if YouTube will let me. Here we go. Let me see when the last episode of Lucifer was uploaded here. Cuz I think it was like maybe a couple weeks ago. Only a couple weeks ago. And I took a break for a couple reasons. Yeah, it was February 14th, which was 14 days ago, 2 weeks. Okay. So it's been 2 weeks since I started to take a break from this. And again, there was multiple reasons why I took a break, because we were halfway through the season, for one. And for two, I needed to just take a break on it because of the other show I was reacting to, which I didn't end up reacting to much more of afterwards. So that worked out excellently, didn't it? But I think it's too quick to come back to this. I'm not quite ready to bring Lucifer back in yet. Um, it's only been 2 weeks. I feel like I need more of a break from it before we get back into it, before I'm like refreshed and ready to go back into a series like that. So I think we have to move to something else instead. And we'll probably then, in that case, come back to Lucifer either once we take a break or finish Undead Unluck, or once we do so with this next series. Um, but we will be coming back to Lucifer. Like I said, do not worry, that will be coming right back. It's just I didn't expect a slot like this to open in 2 weeks, you know? That has kind of caught me off guard there a bit. So do not worry, though, Lucifer is going to be coming back, just not yet. So then the question comes down to, once again, what do I replace Lucifer with? Sorry for any lag that keeps happening. I'm trying to bring up my list here, and every time I do, like, OBS is like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. um, so I had a couple ideas for, since again this is a donation reward slot, for things to get to next, but there's a lot of stuff just in general on my list. And again, this is something I wasn't quite ready for. Like I wasn't like ready to really think about like what am I gonna replace this with today. So I'm looking at my list here, and there's a couple different options I could go for. And it just kind of depends on what I'm in the mood for at the moment, which feels like it's obvious. Um, but it's like, at the same time, what am I in the mood for? And the thing is, I'm not 100% sure. Because there's one thing I was thinking about getting to, but I'm definitely not up for that right now. Um, I'll just leave it at that. And then there's other stuff that it's just like I just don't know if I'm ready for like getting to something like that from what I understand of it. Because I want it to be something as well that's going to kind of blend in well enough with everything else I'm reacting to at the moment. Not just on Wednesdays, but in general. So, looking at this, I think, yeah, I think I have it down to two options here. And I'm thinking that the best choice in this case, with considering, what we're reacting to now, as well as what I'm kind of more in the mood for between the two, based on, again, what I know of it, which, to be fair, is not necessarily a lot. um, I think the best option right now that again I want to go with, and I'm sorry I'm dancing around this. I'm kind of thinking through this as I'm going. Um, I think what I'm gonna go with is I think we're gonna start something new, something we didn't even do during that preview week, and it's something that I've kind of wanted to check out. I have no idea what I'm gonna think of this. I have no idea what this series is going to entirely be like. And I don't know, like, pretty much at all what to expect from it. Like I said, though, after, no matter what, the next one we'll be getting to in a Wednesday slot and a donation reward slot will be Lucifer. So even if I don't end up liking this one, we'll be going back to Lucifer after. But I am going to give it a chance. I am going to give it a shot. And that is Shameless. Shameless US, I guess, is what I have listed here from the donator. And this is a series that I've seen a clip, I think once or twice. The same clip, by the way, on TikTok. And I don't entirely remember what happened in it. But I know it made me interested. And I just randomly saw it while scrolling through TikTok. I don't really remember too much about it at all. But yeah, it got me a little interested, and I knew it was already on the list, so I'm thinking, like, okay, we'll try this out. Again, if I don't end up liking it, I don't end up liking it, but I want to give it a chance, see what it's like. I don't really know exactly what to expect from it. I'll go into more detail on all of that in the pre-thoughts of that video next week, but I'm interested to check this out, find out, what it's like, and to see if that clip I did see is, good representation of the series or not. Because, like I said, I don't remember the exact specifications of what happened in the clip, but I remember the basic feeling and general idea of it. So yeah, this should be interesting for sure. I I'm very curious how this is going to go. But like I said, I really do apologize to everyone, especially you, Dice, for dropping free here. It's just, I don't know what it is about this season, but it's just not doing it for me at all. In fact, it's actively the opposite. I've actively been unenjoying it. I know I don't think that's a word, but still. Um, I apologize, but I think it's the best option. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. I think it's the best option for my mental and emotional health, rather than continue to force myself to watch something that I'm actively disliking. So, yeah, I apologize. Again, I can't apologize enough, but hopefully you understand. And if you could maybe like explain to me like what the general consensus on this is, or maybe I'm misunderstanding something. If you want to, if you feel like you want to try and explain to me like if I'm misunderstanding something, feel free. Because I have come back to other shows in the past that I've dropped before, so if there is something that I'm just completely like misunderstanding or like whatever, please feel free to say something. But yeah, for now, I think it's just the right move to make. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.